Welcome back for another episode of the Shoegazing podcast. I'm Jesper Ingevaldsson of shoegazing.com, one of the largest blogs in the world on quality footwear. This episode, number 22, will be featuring no other than Jean-Michel Casalonga. He is the main lastmaker and workshop manager of Berluti's Paris workshop. The French company Berluti is one of the bigger quality shoe brands in the world, nowadays more of a full-fashion menswear brand, owned by the luxury conglomerate LVMH with stores all around the world. Berluti has two workshops making their bespoke shoes, one in Paris above their original Rue Marbeuf store just next to the Champs Élysées, led by Jean-Michel, and one outside Angers in western France, led by Anthony Delos. Here, Jean-Michel Casalonga tells the interesting story of how he, in a relatively unorthodox way, managed to get his place at Berluti. Hear about his love of lastmaking and how he wants to raise its status in France. About how it is to run a large bespoke workshop doing all in-house and the pros and cons of this setup compared to the use of freelancers, and much, much more. So enjoy your listen. All right, Jean-Michel Casalonga of Berluti, welcome to the Shoegazing podcast.
Thank you, Jesper, to inviting me. Feel very honored.
It's me who have the honor having you here. We're in London actually, and the day before the Super Trunk show here, and in the afternoon we will do the jury review of the World Championship shoes. I'm looking forward to that. You're part of the jury.
Yes, thank you for inviting me and to give me the opportunity to see all those, I hope, wonderful pieces.
Yes, I photographed them yesterday, and yeah, there's some quite amazing pieces.
Yeah, I'm sure. I saw a picture of the previous years, and I was frustrated to didn't really have seen them in real.
Yeah.
So I'm quite excited.
Yeah, cool. And today we're going to talk about sort of running large workshop.
Okay.
But I'm thinking we're starting off, as I usually do, with going a bit more on your background and how you ended up where you are, so to speak. So how did your journey as a shoemaker begin?
So my journey started 20 years ago. I was studying physics at that time. At university, and it was I was getting bored with this, and at a certain point I think everybody needs to find something who inspire you in your life, in your daily life. Physics was not this.
It's quite different.
It's quite different, yeah. And I was always quite manual. I like, since I'm a kid, I like to do things with my hands. And I remember I wrote this story around late 90s about attorney who were making his own shoes. And he learned how to make shoes during his studies, his law studies in Paris. So every day after school, he went to learn how to make shoes with a cobbler. So actually, I don't know who is this guy. I don't know who teach him, but that inspired me. I said, okay, let's go to Paris, because to tell you the real story, I mean the full story. I went to after my bachelor. I went to medical school, which was a failure. I didn't achieve to pass the first row, first year, and right after that, I contacted the compagnon du devoir to go into shoemaking, and they told me no, it's too late. you are an adult. You will be with kids, so we don't take adults anymore. Okay. So I went back to school, to university, to physics, because it was quite easy for me. I was lazy in a way. So I was a bit frustrated about that. So I said, okay, you cannot be shoemaker. Let's try to have skills to make your own shoes, or at least to repair your shoes.
Yeah.
So that's why originally, during my 3 years after bachelor, so it's like we call it licence in French. Yeah, so it's a master 1.
Yeah.
So during this year, I said, okay, I have the opportunity to be intern in a laboratory or whatever. So I use the opportunity of being intern to be intern somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
So my goal was, very first was Berluti. I don't know why. Again, in 1998, I remember I was in a bookstore and I saw a magazine. The cover was full of shoes, full of shoes. I bought this book, and it was just talking about shoemaking, traditional shoemaking. And at that time, when you shoot shoes, it was like on a white...
with white background.
White background. It was like a dead shoes, like, like a classic product. And Berluti were shooting shoes in the nature. For example, in the forest or in the street or whatever. And with pleats, with water on it, with sometimes damaged shoes. It was quite interesting. I said, wow, what is this brand using used shoes to show the product? For me, that was very original at that time. I say, wow, this is a very cool brand. I'm not sure I would wear this type of color, this type of thing, because I'm more like a rough look. Yeah. But I was super interested by that and amazed by this brand. So when I was every time I was turning the page, when I see a Berluti picture, I was like impressed by the product. So Berluti was still in my head. And of course, I was dreaming about John Loeb, about Pierre Cortet at the time. It was a super small workshop. And Aubercy, I liked very much Aubercy. I didn't even understand the difference between ready-made shoes and bespoke shoes. So I went into different stores. One of the first was Berluti, so I pushed the door. And the shoemaker in charge of the workshop at that time was doing a mock-up trial with a customer. So I was still a student, and I was a bit shy. They told me, no worries, stay here. I will discuss with you later. And I remember the welcome, if I can say that, the service delivered by the staff, the sales associate. The store manager told me, don't be shy. Because I said, I don't want to disturb you. I cannot afford buying a pair of shoes like that. And she told me, no worries, take your time, enjoy it. Maybe one day you will become our best customer. So I was feeling good. Welcome. Welcome. Which is quite rare in like high luxury. You don't feel always.
But Berluti is good at that. I've experienced it myself as well. That I mean, everyone is welcomed in a way that
I think that's very important
for every luxury brand. No.
For me, it's very important because on top of being a shoemaker, I'm really customer oriented. At the end of the appointment, the shoemaker gave me his business card. And I think I called him every Friday for like 2 months. And then he told me, okay, you know what? Stop calling me. You come in the workshop and we will see what you have in your hands. So that started in March 2002.
Yeah. So how has your position at Berluti sort of progressed through the years?
So I started as an apprentice making bottoming. Then I was interested about the last, really, for different reasons. First, nobody was understanding really the last. You know, in France specifically, you don't have this strong tradition of lastmaking. You have the tradition of lastmaking because we fit people.
Yeah.
But in England, you have lastmaker, upper maker, bottomer, whatever. Even finisher, or in France, you have shoemaker. Want to go to become a shoemaker, you go for an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
You have like a kind of graduation, but you just do bottoming for 2 years. Then, if you want to become an upper maker, it's complicated. You don't really have school. And when you talk about lastmaking, it's crazy. Nobody anymore teach the lastmaking. In England, when you go to John you see lastmaker everywhere. You don't have one or two lastmaker. You have a huge quantity of lastmaker. Yeah. So I was really interested about lastmaking. And after doing my the bottoming apprenticeship, I asked for Berluti to stay, and they offer me to go in store to being a sales associate. Say, look, this is not exactly what I want to do, but why not? And a job is a job, so this is a brand I like. So yeah, with pleasure, I accept this opportunity. So I went during 1 year and a half in store. Most of the time, actually, you know, in high luxury brands like that, you don't have like tons of customer in store. Huh? You have a few a day. So I was spending my time doing patina. So I learned patina a lot in store. That was very fun.
Cool.
And also that was super interesting for me because I was sales associate, spending time with customer, listening customers, chatting with customers. You know, customer who want to buy an expensive pair of shoes, they spend hours in store speaking about everything. Yeah. So that was a good school for me because I really appreciate to speak with people and to discover in a way, you know, the humanity of the relationship of the sale, and that's probably helped me a lot in my career because when I went back in the workshop, so 1 year and a half after this experience, to learn the lastmaking, I really from the very beginning understood how it's important to understand the customer. So I learned the last with Patrice Roch. We used to learn last at John Loeb workshop in Paris at that time when they were Jean-Pierre Suire very famous, and Dickinson also. Those two guys are kind of a legend in lastmaking in Paris. So I learned the last with Patrice and the shoe tree with Régis Novicki. So I learned those two things, shoe trees with Régis, lastmaking with Patrice, and I was stick to Patrice all day long. Every single appointment he bring me to meet the customer. For that's the one who show me how it's important to create a strong link, a strong relation with the customer. Not only to be to have a nice customer, but to be sure that you understand, you get what the customer is expecting.
Yeah.
So I would say today, let's say maybe half, no, not half of my time, but 25% of my time is to be a sales associate in a way.
And that you learned there from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so now you are sort of combined being a lastmaker and workshop manager.
Yes.
For Berluti's main workshop in Paris. So if you are at a party and someone asks what you work with, how do you describe your job?
So it's almost the same with a laptop. No, I mean, I'm kidding, but it's by being a manager, I focus more on the general vision of the workshop. So of course, being a lastmaker, I always wanted to control everything, all the steps. The lastmaker is in front of the customer, right? So the lastmaker is the one who interprets what the customer explained to you. So when you are back in the workshop, if you transmit, at the end you have some information which are lost. To avoid that, I always take the opportunity of being in the workshop to, after doing my last, controlling the pattern, the drawing, controlling the line, then controlling the upper, the skins we choose, and then same thing for the bottoming. I choose the shoemaker who will make the pair, following his hands, his skills. You know, some are more comfortable with Norwegian, some are more comfortable with inside outside teaching, some are more comfortable with very sharp and curve the arch. So following the style you want to give to the customer, you will say, okay, this you do this way, So in a way, you are a bit like you have an orchestra. I don't know how you say
absolutely.
The one with the sticks.
Yeah, the what do you call it? We call it dirigent in Swedish, but I'm not sure what it's.
That's a nice word.
I'm not sure what it is in English. But I understand. The one with the sticks.
Yeah, the one
in
with
front
the sticks.
of the orchestra.
So even if I always did that job, being a manager push the level a bit higher. Then you have to take care of the human resource side, to take care of people. You have to deal with the bad things, the numbers. But I would say it's a natural evolution. That didn't change my job daily.
So how much would you say that you are working as a lastmaker and how much as a workshop manager, if you would sort of split it? I understand that it's sort of intertwined a bit, but
for me it was always a bit the same. The only difference is that when you're a manager, the bigger the team is, less you have your own time in the workshop.
Yeah.
But it's a bit like being. Then you have to control. You have to deal with the logistic for the planning of the session when you travel. It's being like in a way it's running your own company.
Yeah. You're administrative manager in a way. Yeah.
I'm not talking too much about finance.
No.
Because we have a big team for that. But no, when we buy, you have of course the bills to sign. When we buy skins, when we buy things, but I would say it's like, bespoke workshop in Berluti company is a company in the company. I really feel like I'm running my own workshop. I don't know if that makes sense, if I reply well what you're asking, but people who run their own workshop, they will understand what is my life. It's nothing different.
And how much do you meet clients nowadays?
So I'm focusing on all Europe and US. So it's a lot of travel right now because after reopening, finally after 2 years of COVID, people are eager, you say, huh? They want to eat. So we need to feed them. So I travel in US, in Dubai, in London, in Italy, in Munich. We try to deliver the same service all over the world. So usually we ask, when we do a session, we try to come back 3 months after. So let's say if a customer comes in Paris, we say we will do the mock-up in 3 months, and 3 months left after you will have the final pair. Today we are talking about around 6 months for a final pair. Before COVID, it was more than 9 months. So 3 months for mock-up, 6 more months for the final pair. And today, actually, after the COVID, we try to stay under the 3 months lap. Because that makes sense in terms of being fair with all our customers. Meaning, if you order in London, in New York, or in Paris, you can have the same lead time.
So then when you travel somewhere, you go back
every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
So London a little bit more because it's quick, it's easy.
Go by train.
Munich also, it's kind of a short trip, can be more. But we try to always keep this timing. And then talking about the cities I cover in US, for example, we cover Miami, New York, Los Angeles, a bit south of Los Angeles, Orange County in Costa Mesa. We go in San Francisco. I used to go to Dallas a little bit, Chicago also. It depends.
And you do all these travels?
Yeah.
And you still have time to run the workshop?
Because it's actually I have a great team in Paris. So it's a bit like soldier organization. When you are the commander in chief is not on the field, but he knows exactly what's happening because he still gives the order. So the same mindset. Every single day I have the information of what happened, what's new, what was made. So I still can drive from outside.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's because of the complicity and the relation we create all together in the workshop in Paris.
And the workshop in Paris is sort of, if not but one of the largest bespoke shoemaking workshops in the world. So how many people are you working there currently?
Today we are 12. We were 15 before COVID. We had 2 people retire. Yeah. And one shoemaker who decided to change to become a sales associate, which is weird after 7 years being shoemaker. But it's funny because Maxence really enjoyed when I was welcoming customers in the workshop. He was super excited about showing what he does. Yeah. So he was really, again, customer oriented.
Yeah, wanted to meet people.
Yeah. So it's a great move because it's still at Berluti in store now. And
he can give the customer something that
I think it will bring us customers. Yeah. Because he will feel if the customer is ready for
exactly, and he can explain for the customers in a way that regular sales associates so to speak.
So it's
but how is it? How many?
So we are
is it organized?
Two lastmaker,
2
lastmaker, 3 upper maker. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shoemaker, 1 apprentice, and 1 patina
finishing.
Patina. Then we have 1 guy in the workshop to help us for all the logistic, packing, unpacking, welcoming customers, guests, and so on. And then I feel that we will hiring soon. I guess.
Yeah, because I remember when we met before COVID. I don't remember, it was a bunch of years ago, but then you were really had increased a lot with orders, and you, as many know, Anthony Delos and his workshop joined Berluti a number of years ago, and you increased volume thanks to that. But then you also sort of hired both in his place and your place. And this, you think that will sort of go back to that state?
Yeah,
now?
definitely. First, in terms of training. We will have more than 1 apprentice each of us. At the peak time, we had 4 apprentices. 1 first year for bottoming, 1 second year 3 apprentices. 1 second year for bottoming, and 1 for the upper. So I definitely plan to go back to this. Then I need more guys at the upper, because 3, 4, 5 shoemaker could be enough, but we have a lot of complicated upper. So we spend a lot of time to develop, to create new model, and to do. No, we do a lot of things by hand, like a lot of embroidery, a lot of broguing. So it's very time consuming. So we don't do that much. We need more. We need more people for the upper.
And how do one go about if one wants to get their foot in the door and start working at or apprenticing at a company like Berluti?
So it depends what you want to do. For bottoming, there is one. The best for us is to be at school with les compagnons du devoir et du Tour de France, which is easy for us. But but we have a lot of resume, a lot of people who want to hire to be a part of. To join apprenticeship with us. Honestly, I don't really look the background. I just look the energy, the motivation.
Do you also have international people coming in, or is it mainly?
Not really. If this guy has a clear, by law, we cannot take everybody. We need to have like this person needs to sign for apprentice authorization by law. Mentioned.
Yeah. Because that's what they get much of their salary, so to speak, from.
I think one part, which is not the biggest part from this, but most of that is question of insurance, of being covered for everything, which is legal in France. So, of course, hiring foreigner apprentice is not easy because of that, but why not? I'm more than okay to do that. We have kind of few nationality in the workshop.
So we touched a bit upon it before, but could you sort of describe how the workflow in the workshop is running? I mean, it's obvious that you lastmaker meet the clients and there's different steps, but sort of for the real shoe nerds listening to this podcast, if you could sort of pin out how it's organized.
So after a session, I'm back in the workshop. I will start by carving a wooden last based on the measurement of the customer. Me, if I made the customer. Paula, if she met the customer.
Yeah.
I say that because that's important for you to know that the one who will make the last is the one who touch the fit to the measurements. That's a small detail, but for me that means a lot. That's very important. For example, I can ask Anthony to make a last on a customer I met because I'm in a rush or whatever, but I don't do it. We are very close together. The two workshops are working together.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Anthony wants to make his own last, and I want to make my own last. It's not a question of I like Anthony's last, but I would feel cheating. You know, the customer give me his impression, his feeling, his things, and it's like asking somebody else to do it. For me, that's a bit cheating a little bit.
And
it's
probably
not
easier to actually achieve the wanted result maybe if you do it yourself.
Again, I'm fully confident about the work of Anthony, or it's not only a question of that, it's more a question of this is my job, I like it. I want to do it also.
Yeah.
So
and then from there on?
From there, so we send the last to Hervé, who do a copy, because we cannot copy the last anymore in the workshop for security reason.
Yeah.
When the last is back, I control the last to be sure that the measuring, the proportion are correct. I modify if needed, and then I bring to the upper maker. So the patterner first. We will to explain him all the detail, all the things we speak with the customer. So we start drawing the design on the paper tape.
But yes, so I get it right. You only make one shoe.
Most of the time, I do the left foot.
Your left foot, and then you copy it, and then you sort of modify for if there's any difference.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is how I started. Huh? And for me, that works. Very well. So we develop a base last.
Yeah. Is it rough turned?
Yes. Rough turn and very large, like square toe.
Yeah.
On this square toe, you can do all the toe you want. The arch is super low, and the volume is very generous.
Yeah.
So we don't have different widths, different length. I mean, we just have different kind of sizing. It's not size, but
like few sizes for which you start from. Yeah,
exactly. But we still work from a big piece of wood as an exercise. Exercise. Actually, very important, because you have to, when you start from a big piece of wood, you will learn the twisting, mistakes. You will learn the height of the heel. You will learn a lot of things. So this you have to start with this, definitely. But we don't use daily, so we do a last in let's say 5 hours. Versus 2 days in the past.
Of course. And I mean, that's how basically everyone does it to a larger extent with different versions of base last, so to speak.
Yeah.
But then, sorry, I turned you off track, but you had a patterning and...
so we, at Berluti, we wrap the last with a paper tape, as you see last time. So we draw directly in 3D on the last. Like that, we very easily and quickly manage to have the best proportion possible for the side. As you know, 5mm up or down on the last makes a big change. So like that, we are very easily, we will very easily manage to have nice model, nice proportion. Then we unwrap and we cut the different pieces of the leather. So I validate the drawing to be sure that we match the proportion and the expectation. Then they will unwrap, cut the different pieces, do the pattern, select the skin, check the skin with me for the different perspective, the hand, the softness, the grain. It can be if you have like exotic skin. Sometimes you always have, the natural defect. So you need to deal with this, to discuss with this. Then I let them do what they do, and they know well the job. For the cutting, the checking taking the good thread with the good nail, whatever. But I still control. Sometimes I can see, why did you do this stitching size? Yeah. You should have done this. Okay, sorry, blah, blah. So, I mean, it's very important for me to speak about all the detail, because again, it's small detail, but the size of stitching will make something elegant or sporty or casual. So we always have to think about all those details. The lining, also the softness of the lining. So we try we have like order sheet with a lot of case to be sure that we don't forget any detail. one day I remember we made a pair of shoes. We call it the 7 mistakes. It was like a super nice pair, but 7 mistakes. So we learned by our mistakes. And just for the upper, by the way. So when the upper is finished, we control it. We put the upper on the last to check if the proportions are correct, if the leather reacts well. We don't curve, for example, all the leather before making the upper. I know that a lot of shoemakers, they curve all the front on the last before stitching together. We don't. We do only for boots or for like high instep.
You don't block it before, no.
So sometimes it happens that the leather reacts badly, meaning like you start pulling a little bit and you have like some vein appearing or some defect from I don't know, mosquito or something. Because when you buy skins nowadays, more and more they are like covered. And when you start pulling, you see things appearing which were not here when we check the skin. So before the making, we pull the last on the upper to control the skin, to control the proportion and the model. And then I check with Carlos, who is in charge of the bottomers, who we make this pair. And then when we finish the pair, we let it dry. We let it dry at least 1 week. Then we ship it to Hervé to do the shoe trees. And when the last is back, we do the cocooning. When the shoe is back, we do the cocooning. So we cut the extra lining. We clean, the baby powder inside. We cut the same lining to do the insole. We do full insole at Berluti.
All right.
And we print it, whatever. We do all the finishing. And then we do the patina. The patina of the shoe, patina of the box. Then we take a picture of the shoe, we put a picture on the box, and we prepare all the administrative part for the shipment.
Cool.
It's kind of a
long journey of the bespoke shoe. If we start sort of doing a bit of comparisons, if you look at, for example, England, one have set up with more outworkers. We talked a bit about it before, but to a much larger extent. And what would you say the main benefits are of your way of working, having a large workshop where you still have sort of specialized workers, but where basically all is done in-house?
I'm not sure there is a best way. I see. It's funny because when I was younger, I always, we had famous customers. I call them a little bit a shoemaker hunter. So it was funny because the guy came and said, "Okay, I want a pair from you." Okay, so I was quite honored, And he called me to reorder. Say, "Oh, cool." He's happy, blah blah blah. Say, "Okay, I want a pair, but with batteries, not with you." So I was like shocked, like, "Wow, what did I do wrong?"
Yeah.
And he told me, "No, don't take it personal. I want to compare. I'm not talking about who is the best. I want to feeling your
the difference.
The difference, feeling your feel, your approach. Why you choose this and why Patrice will choose something else." So that was very funny. And for me, this is more an English approach, maybe because when you go to, I don't know, I'm not sure it's the case, it's still the case, but when you go to John Loeb, when you go to Cleverley, and when you go to Foster & Son, for example, it can happen that you have the same bottomer. And I knew people following bottomers. For example, the very famous was Maxwell. One of the very famous was Maxwell. And I know a customer was showing me a pair made by Maxwell or Eric Cook, I guess. Maybe you know this guy. And they were super into detail because of the bottomer. Say, wow, that's very cool. We don't have this in Paris. We have more in France. We have more shoemaker, in-house shoemaker, a few shoemaker, independent shoemaker. But most of the time, you don't really know who made your pair. I know, and all my. I mean, Anthony knows. I'm not talking about checking on the other sheet who signed. I'm talking about the hands of the shoemaker. So we know that because we recognize the hand, we recognize the line, we recognize the tools also, the approach, the sensibility, the end, at the end. But we don't really give this opportunity to the customer. Actually, in a way, we choose who will be the best for this customer. I'm sure it's the same for the English shoemaker. They will pick this guy because this order is very specific. He will make it.
They choose the freelancer that's most suitable. But would you see any benefits from having it in-house? I know, for example, one thing that I can hear is that you, especially the way you describe it, is that you have maybe a better possibility to quality control things along the way, for example?
In a way, with freelancer, when we are not happy, you don't pay, right? So it's a good way to control the quality. My feeling is that is a good opportunity for freelancer because the more you work, the more you get paid. But for me, it's not. It's a tough life. It's not French mind. Okay, I prefer to take care of my guy. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of sending. I have one guy working home. I'm not a big fan of that. Every day, I like to see the work. So it's very, very complicated. There are some good things about that.
Yeah, exactly. If you would look at it the other way, what would be the cons working the way you do compared to the
but the cons is the opportunity to
freelancer system.
The cons for me is the opportunity for the shoemaker to work more. And to okay, I want to go on vacation. I need to make money. Okay,
the freedom.
The freedom of working more and getting more. This is definitely a pro, but I'm not. I don't know. The French law about hiring people is very clear, very strict. I'm not sure it's a bad thing. Then, of course, you lose opportunity. You lose opportunity of being on your own, having no boss, working at your rhythm. Of course, I want the guys being in the workshop at 8:30, and they cannot leave before 4. Of course, I'm very flexible. If they have any kind of thing, I always say yes. But I say yes also because they don't abuse. But running a team is something different, which is very important for me in terms of human relationship. Free worker for me is something from the past and something which is strongly come back. So I think we need to be careful about the Uberization, you can say that, of the society. It's a good opportunity.
The gig economy and that thing,
It's a good opportunity when you have a lot of energy, when you are. But my guy I was talking about a bit earlier at the last, he just turned 70. He doesn't want to go for retire because he's part of his life. Being shoemaker, he's shoemaker upper maker since 8. So he's working in shoemaking for 62 years, which is insane.
That must be some sort of world record.
But if this guy is a free worker, you cannot. It's too difficult. He doesn't have the same energy as a guy which is around 30 or so. No, I'm not a big fan of that.
And what if you compare to smaller workshops, 1 or 2 persons or something like that? What would be the pros and cons there compared to your setup with big ones?
The pro is definitely for me being in the big workshop is to have time to do the last of all my customers. To have time to train, to have time to transmit my job, to have time to spend time with customers, to have time to spend time with you. When you are on your own, you are running after time. So when you are on your own and you want to do the last, to do the upper, to do like Daniel does, I'm really, really, really impressed by his job and by his skills first, but also his energy. I wonder when he can sleep.
Because that's one thing that you see, especially for you guys in France, who have sort of, like you say, you have pretty strict regulations on how much you can work in every week and stuff like that.
For workers, I'm not the same.
Yes, exactly.
I don't do my 35 hours.
I can suspect that. But in general, and if you look, especially if you look at, Daniel is one of those guys, and you have another bunch of others, of course, in Europe. But especially if you look at, for example, Japanese guys who, in many cases, work shitloads. It's very different types of lives. And
I'm fully customer dedicated. I always have my phone with me, even on Sunday at night and so on. And my life sometimes she said me, "Hey, you are not saving life. Come back. You have to come back to us, which is true. So the problem is that we do a passion job.
Yeah, exactly.
So we never stop. We don't want to escape from our work because we are getting paid to enjoy what by enjoying what we do. So, but I try more and more to get out of the workshop. I try to don't do more than 50 hours a week because otherwise and again, being in Paris is difficult because we are working from Monday to Friday, but we have customers on Saturday. We have customers for dinner. We have customers so it's much more than being in a lastmaker and in a relationship with customer makes a life. Very long weeks.
Yeah.
And long days. So I would say again that the pro of being in the big workshop with people you have fully confidence with and dedicate to different steps. That's the pro. The con is maybe to be your own boss. Even if again I have a bit this feeling because I'm running a big workshop, but it's a company in the company in a way. So the con would be later today, which was a frustration for years. Today I would say I'm very proud to be a lastmaker. And by the way, I fight to bring back lastmaking in the apprenticeship. Because again, what I said is totally true. The best shoemaker of the world, if he doesn't know how to deal with customer, he cannot fit customers. So for me, it's very important. This approach is very important. So that's why I'm very happy to be lastmaker. That's why also I'm very happy to teach how we do last.
Just to wrap things up with a final question here, if you look at these larger workshops, and of course then specifically the Berluti workshop in Paris, what do you see? Do you see any ways that you will that this will evolve in the future? Say, looking 10 years into time, will it be any differences, or how do you see the future of this type of workshop?
I hope the future will be on the same trend, because actually when I started, we were a very small workshop, way below famous John Loeb competitor in Paris. I don't know the number for John Loeb, but today we are very facing a situation where we have huge a lot of customers, a lot of orders. After COVID, that's really super. I'm very happy about that because I was suffering during COVID.
Yeah, of course.
Because actually I'm lastmaker again, and I need to meet customers. That's that's a big part of my job, and doing last is great. I love it, and making models and controlling and making and managing is great. But 2 years without customer was not good for me.
No. Hopefully we don't have to experience this.
I hope
in a long time,
at least try to, guys who run the world, try to split the world and not cut everything together at the same time. Yeah. No, the lockdown has to be like this part first, then this part, then this part. At least we still can travel a little bit somewhere in the planet. So
things are looking to continue to make the workshop bigger.
Yes, but with a certain limit. I think the size we had just before was great. I would like to come back to 15, 16 people maximum. And then the customer will wait a little bit more. No, actually, we are taking a lot of orders from loyal customers, from new customers, a lot of new customers actually also, more than in the past. We put a lot of attention on showing what we do. So we do a kind of exhibition in store where we carve wooden last.
Yeah, so
to explain to the customer the approach of doing bespoke. It's not only ordering a pair of shoes, it's really being a part of into the process. For us, we need customer going into the process. We need customer who understand what it is. So to understand, if you don't have this knowledge, you need to see. So I think it was a good operation, good opportunity to do this. So that brings us a lot of new customers. And after the first delivery, they were amazed. So we continue ordering. It's true that today the approach of making bespoke shoes is not exactly the same as we did 20 years ago. We try to do more comfortable shoes. So we
talked about it. You make still traditionally constructed in many ways, but bit thinner stiffeners, not as
exactly.
stiff soles.
I'm not talking about form and so on inside. We use the same material but with a softer hand. For me, this is very important for a customer to be comfortable since the very first moment. Not after breaking the shoes for days, weeks, sometime. This still happen if we have customer like fully bespoke for 20 years or 50 years sometimes, or forever. We feel that they will accept, they will also wish to have something very stiff, very durable. And so, so we work this way, but we also really adapt, especially after 2 years of COVID where people didn't wear formal shoes.
Yeah, so I think it sounds like a good way to adapt this type of shoes.
Yeah. And again, it's fully traditional. So when we travel, we take a kit with 9 pairs. Exactly the same last, exactly the same model with different lightness. So the customer can feel it and see the difference.
Yeah, cool.
So that's good.
One way to show it, yeah. All right, Jean-Michel Casalonga of Berluti. Thank you very much for being part of the podcast.
Thanks to you. Very happy to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to very excited for later today.
Yeah. Me too. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening in on this episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, please give it a good rating or comment in your podcast player. The Shoegazing Podcast will be back with a new episode in a short while, so hear you again soon.